Have you ever wondered why we often cling to relationships that clearly no longer bring value? Have you ever found yourself in a friendship or a romantic relationship where you know, deep down, that it no longer fits who you are or your goals? Yet, why do you still hold on, even when these relationships leave you feeling exhausted, anxious, or even hurt? This is the truth about relationships in life. We are too afraid to let go. It's not because we don't want to move forward, but because we fear change, loneliness, or even guilt. But you need to understand that holding on to relationships that no longer serve you is actually holding yourself back. Life is constantly evolving, constantly changing. Every phase of your life is a step forward, a process of growth. And in this journey, you need to learn how to eliminate what no longer aligns with your goals or your personal development. Every person you meet in life, every relationship you build serves a specific purpose. But not everyone can walk with you for the entire journey. The reality is, some people come and go, not because they are bad, but because they no longer help you grow. You must accept that some people are only meant to be in your life for a short time, perhaps to teach you a lesson, help you grow, or simply to help you realize that you need to change. One reason why we struggle to let go of relationships is because we become so familiar with them. It's easy to stay in a toxic relationship simply for the safety it provides. Their daily conversations, their presence in your life, all these create a sense of stability, a feeling of security, even though you know it doesn't truly make you happy. But stability does not equate to growth. You can stay in a safe relationship and never face any challenges, but you'll never grow if you maintain that state. The truth is, you need to let go of relationships that no longer fit you to make space for new ones. Relationships that will help you grow, challenge you, and add value to your life. And here's the hardest part: learning to cut ties without feeling guilty. You might think that letting go is selfish, but the truth is, if you don't protect yourself, if you don't prioritize yourself, you'll never become the best version of yourself. So you cannot take care of others if you don't take proper care of yourself. Ending a relationship doesn't mean you hate them or don't care about them. It simply means you are making a decision to protect your peace and personal growth. Don't let relationships drag you down. Don't let the fear of loneliness or criticism prevent you from moving forward. You have the right to choose who will be in your life. It's not because you don't love or appreciate those who've been with you, but because you realize that every relationship must contribute positively to your life. If someone is consistently pulling you down, making you feel unworthy, or causing you to doubt yourself, then that's not a relationship you need to hold on to. The most important thing is that you recognize not everyone in your life will walk with you the entire way. Everyone has their own mission, and sometimes their mission is to teach you something about yourself. But at some point, they will have to leave, and so will you, needing to walk alone or walk with new people, those who can help you achieve higher goals and reach new heights. To do this, you must confront your own fears, the fear that you will lose what you're familiar with, but if you can't courageously move past that fear, you'll never know the wonderful opportunities waiting ahead. Each time you choose to let go of a relationship that no longer fits, you're not only creating space for new people, but also creating opportunities for yourself, opportunities to grow, to step out of your comfort zone and move forward. Bible. Finally, you need to understand that not everyone will understand your decision. There will be people who feel hurt, people who don't understand why you're doing it, but you can't live your life just to please others. You can't let worrying about their feelings stop your progress. This life is yours, and you have the right to choose who will walk with you on the path of growth. Remember, there are many people and relationships in this life, but not all of them are worth keeping. Some relationships are only meant to teach you a lesson, and once you've learned it, it's time to move on without them. Look at everything clearly, and if you realize someone is holding you back, preventing your growth, don't hesitate to cut ties. Letting go is not easy, but it is one of the most powerful actions you can take to improve your life. Sometimes you have to leave behind those who no longer fit your development in order to embrace new relationships, people who can truly help you build a better future. Fear is one of the most powerful factors that hinder us from changing and growing, especially when it comes to cutting off relationships, whether friendships or love. Fear seems to be the biggest barrier. We fear guilt, loneliness, change, and having to face questions we cannot immediately answer. This fear stems from our familiarity with these relationships, even though we know they no longer fit the path we are on. But it is this fear that holds you back, preventing you from moving forward, from stepping out of your comfort zone to embrace growth, to seek new relationships and opportunities. When you decide to enter a relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantic, you put a part of yourself into it. The joyful moments, the shared ups and downs all contribute to the bond. As time goes by, you begin to form invisible attachments, creating habits and a sense of safety. It's this feeling that makes you hesitant to change, to face the truth that this relationship may no longer benefit you. You fear that if you cut ties, everything will change, that you'll lose a part of your life, that you won't be able to find others to replace them. This is the fear of loneliness. But have you ever asked yourself if maintaining a relationship that clearly no longer has meaning will help you become stronger? Is that fear truly worth sacrificing your growth and peace of mind? Every time you hesitate, every time you hold on to relationships that no longer fit, you are holding yourself back. You are missing opportunities to grow, to meet people who truly support you, and opportunities to become a better version of yourself. The fear of cutting off a relationship not only comes from the fear of loneliness, but also from guilt. You fear that if you leave an old friend or a loved one, you'll be seen as selfish, ungrateful, or cold-hearted. But the truth is, when you continue to hold on to unhealthy relationships, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're also being unfair to the other person. Every relationship must involve contribution and support from both sides. If you continue to hold on to a relationship without support, without appreciation, or mutual help, are you really doing the right thing? You need to face the reality that cutting ties is not a bad action, but a necessary choice to protect yourself. Relationships can bring great value, but when they become draining, when they no longer nourish your growth, holding on to them only makes you feel exhausted. The guilt you face is not the most painful part. The truth is, when you hold on to people or relationships that no longer suit you, you're hindering your own progress. You cannot grow if you stay in an environment that doesn't nurture creativity, freedom, and maturity. The fear is even greater when the person is a close friend, someone you've been attached to for many years. When you become too familiar with someone, you begin to fear that no one else could ever take their place in your life. But you need to understand that every stage of life requires different people to accompany you. The people you meet in life will not all walk with you forever. Some come for a specific reason, perhaps to teach you something or to go through a particular phase with you. But when that phase ends, you must learn to let go. That's the only way to open up new opportunities, new relationships, and new growth. Fear also comes from feeling responsible for others. You feel that if you cut off a relationship, you will hurt the other person, make them feel abandoned. But you must realize that everyone is responsible for their own life. They have the right to choose their own path, and so do you. You cannot live your life just for others. If someone truly understands and values you, the truth is, if the relationship were truly good for you, you wouldn't feel the need to let go. You would naturally grow together. Fear when cutting off relationships also manifests in self-doubt. You're not sure if you're doing the right thing. You wonder if you're being too selfish by letting go of someone you were once close to, or if there's something you could do to save the relationship. But sometimes growth requires sacrifice. You need to sacrifice relationships that no longer serve your growth in order to embrace new opportunities. Remember, you cannot create a better life if you're held back by people who don't help you grow. Finally, the fear of cutting off relationships is a form of self-deception. It's a fear that doesn't truly exist, but is the result of negative thinking, unfounded worries. You need to learn how to confront these fears, understanding that you have the right to choose who stays in your life. Fear is unavoidable, but don't let it stop you. You need to step through it to become a better version of yourself, to embrace new people and opportunities, and to live the life you truly deserve. Strong growth is not an easy process, but is the path that leads to success, prosperity, and true maturity. Every step on the development path requires you to move beyond your current comfort, to dare to step out of your safe zone and face challenges and tough decisions. And one of the hardest decisions you will face on your development journey is choosing to grow strongly. Even if that means letting go of relationships that no longer suit you, you will not grow if you do not accept change, if you keep holding on to what is past, what no longer holds value in your journey. The truth is, choosing strong growth requires you to have a clear, decisive vision and the courage to accept that not everyone will walk with you on this path. People come and go in your life for different purposes, and you need to recognize that some people no longer fit your personal development. When you decide to cut off relationships that no longer bring positive value, you are protecting space for new opportunities, new people, and relationships that can truly accompany you on your development path. Cutting off does not mean abandoning friendship or love, but rather preserving the most important things for your personal growth. Strong growth is the choice of those who are not afraid of change, not afraid of risk, and not afraid to face temporary pain in order to achieve a better future. Don't let fear, hesitation, or anxiety about what will happen when you let go delay your change. Only when you can let go of what no longer brings value can you embrace new opportunities and challenges life brings. Strong growth is not just about changing how you think, but also about changing how you act. You cannot expect different results if you keep doing the same things as before. The more you hesitate, the more opportunities you lose for change. Every day you delay is a day you miss out on an opportunity to rise and progress. Strong growth starts with decisiveness and courage to change. You need to learn to reassess the relationships in your life, to distinguish which relationships can help you grow and which just drag you down. Every relationship impacts you, and the people you interact with will shape how you perceive the world. If you want to grow strongly, you must ensure that those around you are people who can push you forward, not those who make you feel stuck. Choosing strong growth also means being ready to face failure. No one can grow without facing setbacks. You need to accept that not every decision you make will lead to immediate success, but those failures are valuable lessons that help you grow and become more resilient. Every time you rise after a failure, you become stronger, wiser, and ready to face bigger challenges. And in this journey, one of the biggest challenges is learning to let go of what no longer fits. When you decide to cut off relationships that no longer bring positive value, you are not just cutting off external obstacles, but also opening a new space within. You will not find peace and inner strength if you allow negative relationships to dominate your life. Strong growth is about knowing how to protect your energy, knowing when to let go and when to continue. This requires deep self-awareness of what truly matters in your life. You need to realize that not everyone will walk with you the entire way. That is a truth you must accept. And when sometimes silence is the way to help you step out of the past, not remain attached to things that no longer serve your growth. When you truly understand that what you are doing is for your own development, you will not feel guilty or have to apologize for letting go. Silence and cutting off is not malicious, but the act of someone who knows self-respect and how to protect their mental well-being. Deciding to let go of a relationship is never easy, especially when that person has been with you for a long time, when you have shared countless memories, joys, sorrows, and ups and downs together. They may have been a close friend, companion during important life stages, or even someone you have deeply cared for. Realizing that this relationship no longer fits, no longer adds value to your personal development is a difficult decision. However, this is the most important decision you need to build a brighter future where you can reach higher goals without being held back by things that are no longer necessary. The difficulty in making this decision is not insurmountable. It's the uncertainty, the ambiguity about what will happen after you let go, the anxiety about whether you are doing the right thing, whether you are hurting the other person, whether you can face loneliness. These questions will arise in your mind, but you need to understand that despite the difficulty, this decision is part of your growth. You cannot continue holding on to relationships that are no longer useful, that no longer help you grow. Sometimes letting go is the wisest choice. You cannot spend time and energy on relationships that do not help you grow, that do not push you forward. When you hold on to relationships that hinder your growth, you will remain stuck, unable to rise higher or seize greater opportunities. This difficult decision does not mean abandoning feelings or denying the past. On the contrary, it is an understanding that everything has its time. That relationship helped you learn and grow, but when that time has passed, you need to continue your own path. You need to make space for new relationships, new opportunities, and new people who will help you move further. The feeling of guilt when cutting off a relationship is completely natural. You will feel as though you are doing something wrong, especially when that person may have brought much value to your life, stood by you in difficult times. However, you need to understand that everyone has their own journey, and there are times when you must walk alone. No one can accompany you forever, and not every relationship can stay with you throughout your journey of development. Letting go is how you create space for personal development, for the good things that will come afterward. This difficult decision requires you to reassess your goals and values. You cannot continue on the same path if you keep holding on to things that no longer suit you. Sometimes determination must come from acknowledging that not everyone will walk with you until the end. Those who do not help you grow, those who do not push you forward, are sometimes just temporary relationships, lessons that help you recognize what matters in life. And when that lesson is complete, you need to continue walking, not because you don't love them, but because you love yourself and the path you are on. This choice is not about abandoning everything you have. Letting go does not mean denying everything, but rather choosing a positive change for yourself, a change that brings peace and growth. When you know you need to let go, you are not only making space for new opportunities, but also creating an opportunity for you to focus on bigger goals. You are allowing yourself to step out of your comfort zone and explore new potentials. Deciding to let go of a relationship is not easy, but it is necessary for you to move forward in life. Sometimes what you need to do is not try to hold on to the past, but step forward alone, accepting the challenges and allowing yourself to grow stronger. The truth is, not everyone will understand or accept your decision. Some may feel hurt or angry when you cut ties. But what's important is that you must be clear that it is your choice and you have the right to make a decision for your own benefit. You cannot live your life just to please others, just to meet their expectations. You are responsible for yourself, for your own growth, and you cannot let unsuitable relationships pull you down. This difficult decision will bring significant change to your life. When you let go, you not only open up space for other relationships, but you also create an opportunity to become the best version of yourself. Sometimes change requires sacrifice, but it's necessary for you to reach higher goals, to build the future you truly desire. Remember, every step, every difficult decision you make in life is part of the journey to becoming the best version of yourself. The decision to let go will make you stronger, more confident, and ready to embrace new opportunities. Each of us has goals, dreams, and desires in life. These dreams are not distant fantasies, but things we can achieve if we are determined, patient, and most importantly, heading in the right direction. However, along this journey, there will always be external factors, people or relationships that can either help or hinder you. One thing you need to realize is that not everyone in your life will walk with you to the finish line. Some people will always be there to support and encourage you, but others will either intentionally or unintentionally hold you back, causing you to lose your way or reducing your ability to develop. The important thing is that you must identify who is helping you reach success and who is pulling you down. Recognizing who is holding you back is not always easy, especially when these people could be friends, family, or even people you haven't seen in a long time but still have a profound impact on your life. They may not intentionally hinder you, but their actions or words might make you feel insecure, doubt yourself, and stop dreaming of a better future. In reality, this hindrance may stem from many factors, from that person's own fears, unresolved issues in the relationship, or even ignorance. Perhaps your loved one is unintentionally obstructing your growth simply because they are worried about you, they don't want you to change, or fear that you will leave them behind. However, this concern may lead to wrong advice, actions that prevent you from moving forward. And at this moment, you need to recognize the most important thing. You cannot stay in relationships like this if you want to grow. People who do not truly believe in your abilities, those who do not want you to change and move forward, will never help you achieve big goals. They will always keep you in their safe zone where you won't face challenges, you won't change, but will never achieve anything significant. You need to learn to identify relationships that don't help you grow, that don't push you forward, and be strong enough to let them go. One of the easiest signs of someone holding you back is when they always give reasons for you not to act. They'll say things like, don't rush into that, you might face risks, why not try a stable job instead of taking a risk, or you'll definitely not be able to do it. These statements are not criticisms, but advice born out of worry and fear. But these pieces of advice stop you from seizing new opportunities, making you stop right before the threshold of success. These people don't intend to harm you, but they're holding you back with their own fears. Another sign of people who hold you back is when they make you feel insecure about yourself. Small comments, unfriendly looks, or lack of support when you need encouragement the most can unintentionally make you feel incapable of achieving your goals. Sometimes these people may not realize that they are negatively affecting you. But if you always feel like you can't do anything significant when you are around them, that's when you need to realize that they are not the people you need to grow. Don't let these people make you doubt yourself. Don't let them define your limits. You are the only one who can decide your abilities. The longer you stay, the more these people will make you feel trapped, limiting your dreams, and eventually you'll gradually give up on those dreams because no one supports you. Another important thing is that you need to differentiate between those who truly care about you and those who only want to keep you for their own benefit. Those who truly care will always want you to progress, want you to become the best version of yourself, even if it means the relationship between you and them may change. But if someone just wants to keep you because of their own comfort to avoid facing change, then that person is holding you back. Life cannot progress if you are stuck in unhealthy relationships. If you want to grow, you need to know how to let go of those who are not truly walking with you on your path. Don't let them keep pulling you down. Don't let them hinder your progress. Learn how to identify toxic relationships and know when it's time to walk away. Deciding to step out of these relationships is not easy, but it is necessary if you want to seek growth, if you want to achieve big goals. Remember, your life is yours, and you have the right to choose who will walk with you. Those who support your development will always be there encouraging you and helping you reach new heights. Those who hold you back will only keep you in a false sense of safety, preventing you from moving forward and achieving what you truly deserve. When you recognize who is holding you back, that's when you can truly be free and confidently continue your own path. Guilt is one of the most powerful emotions and has a profound impact on our actions and thoughts, especially when we have to make difficult decisions related to letting go, cutting off relationships. Guilt often arises. You might feel like you are doing something wrong, like you are being irresponsible, or even feel like you are abandoning someone. However, you need to be clear that guilt does not always reflect the truth, and sometimes it is an unreasonable emotion that you need to overcome in order to move forward in life. Guilt is not a positive feeling. It is one of the negative emotions that hinder personal development, making you feel heavy, tired, and unable to focus on what truly matters. When you always feel guilty for your decisions, you will not be able to live fully. You will not be able to move forward, not able to grow, because every step you take is weighed down by the feeling that you've done something wrong. But you must understand that making decisions for your own growth is not wrong. Relationships that no longer fit, necessary choices to protect your peace and personal growth, none of these are wrong. Guilt comes from not accepting that sometimes in order to protect yourself, you have to let go of what no longer fits, what no longer brings value to you. True growth cannot come if you keep holding on to what is past, unhealthy relationships, old habits that don't help you move forward. A big part of letting go of guilt is reevaluating yourself. You are not responsible for other people's emotions. You do not have to bear the responsibility for their pain if you have made the right decision for yourself. Guilt often arises when you feel like you're hurting someone, but you need to understand that if you don't cut off unhealthy relationships, if you don't protect yourself, you're hurting yourself. And when you hurt yourself, you won't be able to help anyone else. You won't be able to do anything beneficial for those around you. You cannot fulfill your responsibilities in relationships, work, or life if you don't take care of yourself first. Remember, you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot love, help, or share if you're exhausted, tired, and unhappy yourself. Letting go of guilt is an important step to becoming the best version of yourself. You cannot keep living in a relationship that drains you just because you're afraid of hurting someone. Letting go does not mean you don't love them. It means you are prioritizing your own development. You are creating space to embrace better things, more positive relationships. Guilt is just a shadow, an illusion that makes you doubt yourself, preventing you from moving forward, from changing. But when you decide to let go of that feeling, you will realize that you have the right to choose what's best for you. To do that, you need to understand that your personal development is not selfish. You are not the only one in life, but you are the only one responsible for your life. Guilt will come when you think you're abandoning someone, but the truth is, when you leave behind unhealthy relationships, you are not hurting others, you're protecting yourself. If you cannot protect yourself, if you cannot love yourself, you cannot expect to do that for others. An important part of letting go of guilt is realizing that change is necessary for your growth. Life is always changing, and so should you. The relationships come and go, and when one no longer helps you grow, that's when you have to let it go. If you keep holding on to relationships that no longer bring value, you will only get lost. You will not be able to move forward. Letting go of guilt is an act of strength. Someone who understands that change is a natural part of life. You do not need to apologize for wanting to live a better life. You do not need to feel guilty when cutting off a relationship that is no longer healthy. You have the right to prioritize your growth and peace. Once you understand this, you will no longer feel guilty. You will feel free. You will feel peace because you know you did the right thing. And when you let go of guilt, you will also let go of doubt and worry, and you will be able to focus on what truly matters and walk confidently. Ultimately, letting go of guilt is a journey to freedom. You are no longer bound by what others think of you. You are no longer living in fear of hurting someone. You will learn to love yourself, take care of yourself, and from there, you will be able to share that love and care with those around you. Guilt is just a shell, but when you remove it, you will see the light of freedom and growth. You deserve a better life, and to achieve that, you must know how to let go of what no longer fits, including guilt. In life, there is one important thing you need to realize. You don't always have to explain every decision and action to others. You don't always have to give reasons for what you do, especially when those decisions are related to protecting your peace, happiness, and personal growth. The feeling that you need to explain everything is sometimes a burden, a constraint that you create for yourself, preventing you from living freely, from acting in ways that feel right to you. You don't need to explain why you cut off a relationship, why you refuse a request, or why you choose to live a different path. These decisions are your rights, and not everyone has the right to question or ask you for an explanation. When you decide to let go, change, or cut off relationships that no longer fit, there may be people around you who are confused or don't understand. They may want to know why. They may want you to explain what you're doing. But the truth is, you are not responsible for their feelings or misunderstandings. They may not understand because they don't live your life. They don't face the challenges and decisions you deal with every day. You don't need to apologize or explain because what you do is for your personal growth. Maintaining peace of mind and personal growth is not something you need to explain to anyone. Everyone has their own journey and goals. You have the right to choose your path, and if someone doesn't understand or doesn't agree with your decision, that is their problem, not yours. Freedom in life comes from not depending on the acceptance of others. The more you try to explain, the more likely you are to be judged and at times misunderstood. They may not understand why you made this decision, but you don't need to make them understand. Your right to choose is a sign of respect for yourself. If you live just to please others, you will never truly live for yourself. Don't let those around you overshadow your freedom and choices. Remember, you cannot change everyone's perspective, and you don't need to. Everyone has their own worldview, a different way of seeing things, and not everyone will understand the path you are taking. That's why not explaining is a way to protect yourself from unnecessary questions, from judgments, or inappropriate advice. You don't need to explain why you changed jobs, why you no longer associate with certain people, or why you choose to live in your own way. What matters is that you did it to protect yourself and your growth. Not all change is easy to accept, but you have the right to change, the right to choose what is right for you. You are not the one who needs to explain why you want to live better, why you want to become the best version of yourself. When you act for yourself, for your development and happiness, you are not obligated to please anyone. This does not mean you don't care about others, but it means you understand that personal development and peace of mind are the most important things. You cannot put yourself into relationships or situations that no longer help you grow just out of fear or guilt. Sometimes not explaining is the way to protect yourself from invasions into your private space. You have the right to keep things private, reasons that only you know, and that is your personal right. By doing this, you are not only protecting your peace, but also showing that you are living independently, not being influenced by external factors. Major decisions in life are not always understood by others immediately. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who find it hardest to accept change, but you need to remember that this change is for you. And only when you are truly happy and growing can you bring joy and support to others. Not explaining does not mean you are irresponsible or indifferent. It means you are respecting your own space and choices. Don't feel guilty when you decide not to explain everything. You don't need to explain because you live for yourself. You live to grow and move forward. Those who truly love and respect you will understand that your decisions come from deep and valid reasons, and they will support you rather than ask for explanations. When you don't explain, you are not only protecting yourself from judgment, but also showing that you have confidence in your decisions. You don't need to explain because you know exactly why you are acting, and that is strength in taking control of your life. Remember, your life is yours. You have the right to choose what's best for you without needing to explain to anyone. The freedom in making decisions is the key to achieving what you want in life. And when you don't explain, you'll realize that you can live more freely, happily, and truly take control of your life. Strength and courage are not innate qualities that you possess, but they are what you train, choose, and develop through each decision in life. To live strongly and courageously, you must dare to face challenges, to step through storms and not fear change, because only then will you truly step out of your comfort zone and achieve great things. Strength does not mean you never feel fear. Strength comes from continuing to act despite knowing that the challenges ahead will not be easy. Courage does not mean there is no fear, but it means you dare to do what is necessary despite that fear. Every step you take in life can be a challenge, but it is these challenges that will forge you into a stronger, braver, and more resilient person. Strength is not only shown in big decisions, but also in the small daily actions you take. The times when you don't give up, when you don't let fatigue or failure knock you down, are the moments you show your strength. Every time you get back up after a fall, you become stronger, you learn something from failure, and you become more grounded in the steps ahead. The important thing is that you do not stop. You do not let yourself be stuck in fear, in the feeling of failure. You must have the courage to face yourself, to reflect on what you've done, and continue to walk despite the difficulties. When you feel that you are at a crossroads in life, when you have to make difficult decisions, it is strength and courage that will drive you to overcome all challenges. Sometimes doing what is necessary to protect yourself, to step out of an unsuitable relationship, requires tremendous mental strength. Giving up something familiar, a relationship or a long-held habit, is not easy. However, it is courage and strength that will help you realize that in order to progress, you must accept changes, accept the difficult steps. Every time you let go of something that no longer fits, you will gradually realize that true strength does not come from holding on to what's familiar, but from your ability to change, to walk a path not knowing what the future holds. When you choose to let go of guilt or explanations, you are showing strength and courage in protecting your peace. Guilt only exhausts you, and it makes you hesitant to make decisions for yourself, but courage helps you realize that you don't need to please everyone. You have the right to choose what's best for you, and when you do that, you don't need to explain or apologize to anyone. To live strongly and courageously, you must learn to accept your imperfection. Not every decision you make will be right, but you will learn from mistakes and continue moving forward. And sometimes mistakes are what help you recognize the true values of life. The times when you feel defeated are actually the times you have the opportunity to rise, correct mistakes, and continue stronger. Courage is not never failing, but knowing how to get up every time you fall. When you are truly strong and courageous, you will no longer fear facing challenges, no longer fear change. You will understand that change is an inevitable part of growth, and only when you dare to face change can you reach new opportunities, achievements you once never dared to dream of. Sometimes strength and courage come from knowing when to let go, letting go of relationships that no longer fit, letting go of habits that no longer bring value, and letting go of negative thoughts. This is an important part of growing up. This journey is not always easy, but when you understand that strength does not come from holding on to everything, but from your ability to let go to open up new opportunities, you'll feel freer and stronger. You do not need to wait for permission from anyone to live your life. Strength and courage are when you create opportunities for yourself, decide your direction, and dare to face old challenges. You will never progress if you always live in fear, if you don't dare to step out of your comfort zone. To grow, you need to be strong in facing difficulties and courageous in embracing new opportunities. Strong people are not those who do not have fear, but those who can face fear and not let it control their lives. Courage is when you dare to dream big, dare to believe in your abilities, and dare to act to make that dream come true. Life is never easy, but challenges are opportunities for you to develop resilience, to grow, and to become stronger. When you accept difficulties, embrace change, and walk forward, even when you are unsure of the future, you will realize that true strength comes from never giving up. Strength and courage will take you farther, helping you achieve goals you never imagined. Loneliness is often considered a frightening thing. It is the feeling of being lost, having no one by your side to share with, the absence of loved ones, and sometimes it is the feeling of not knowing where you are going or what you are doing. But in reality, loneliness is not always a bad thing. It is not a sign of failure, but an opportunity to explore yourself, to regain balance in life, and to build a solid foundation for personal growth. You don't have to fear loneliness. Sometimes it is in loneliness that you can truly listen to yourself, think about what you really want and need in life. When there is no one around to distract your attention, you will have the chance to reassess your decisions, goals, and desires. This is the time you can understand yourself better, recognize what truly matters, and figure out how you want to move forward in life. Loneliness will help you realize that you don't need to rely on the presence of others to feel valuable. Sometimes we tend to seek comfort and companionship from those around us to feel valued. However, the truth is that true value comes from within you. You don't need to wait for someone else to acknowledge you, nor do you need to live according to others' expectations. You can build self-confidence and happiness from within, and sometimes loneliness is when you can focus on doing that. Loneliness does not mean you cannot have meaningful relationships. In fact, it can be an opportunity to build higher quality relationships. When you're not afraid of being alone, you won't easily accept relationships just because you fear being without someone by your side. You will become more selective in choosing people who can truly walk with you on your path to growth. These relationships will not just be temporary comforts, but will provide lasting support, the motivation you need to go further. Not every moment of loneliness is a bad thing. Sometimes it is a time for you to rebuild yourself, recharge, and focus on your long-term goals. It's a moment when you can step back from external noise, find inner peace, and refresh yourself. Loneliness can sometimes be the gift life gives you to reassess what truly matters. Do not fear facing it, because it is in these quiet moments that you will discover the truth about yourself. Also remember that loneliness is an opportunity for you to learn to love yourself, to build a strong relationship with yourself. Once you love and understand yourself, you will not feel lonely even when you are alone. You will realize that your presence is enough, that you can create change and find joy in what you do without needing validation from others. Loneliness can also be the time for you to develop independence. When you have no one to depend on, you will learn to stand on your own, find solutions to your problems, and take responsibility for your actions. This not only makes you stronger, but also creates a solid foundation that will allow you to move forward without external support. You will never feel weak when facing loneliness. Instead, you will feel more independent and confident. This helps you discover your true value without needing comparisons or validation from others. In fact, loneliness is necessary for you to develop your creativity. When there is no distraction from others, you can fully focus on your work, on the creative ideas you want to pursue. The lonely moments are when you can experiment, explore, and create new things without being influenced by external factors. During these times, you will realize that you can do many things you never thought possible, and you will find unexpected inspiration from the loneliness itself. Once you stop and no longer fear loneliness, you will realize that you don't need to be with anyone to feel complete. You are enough. And when you understand this, you will live your life more fully. You will no longer depend on others' presence to feel happy, but you will find joy in the moments you create for yourself. Loneliness is not something you need to avoid. It is a natural part of life that you need to learn to accept. When you learn to face loneliness, you will realize that it is an opportunity for you to rejuvenate, connect more deeply with yourself, and find the right path for your life. Life will never be easy, but when you stop and no longer fear loneliness, you will discover your inner strength, and from there, rise stronger than ever before. Loyalty is not something that can be measured by time. In life, we often tend to associate loyalty with the duration of a relationship. We believe that the longer the bond, the greater the loyalty. But the truth is, loyalty is not simply about being attached to someone for a long period of time. It is measured by respect, support, and the values each person brings into your life. A relationship can last for decades, but if during that time loyalty is not maintained through actions, support, and sincerity, it cannot be called loyal. True loyalty is a commitment that comes from the heart, from mutual understanding and respect. A person may be with you for a long time, but if they do not truly respect you, do not support you in important decisions, or do not bring value to you, their presence is merely a formality. True loyalty is when the other person stands by you in difficult times, when they encourage you when needed, and when they are ready to sacrifice for you without expecting anything in return. Measuring loyalty by time can cause us to overlook more important factors, such as the quality of connection, understanding, and sharing. A long period does not necessarily mean that the relationship is strong. A relationship can only last long if both parties are willing to invest in it. Not just time, but energy, affection, and sincere commitment. Sometimes a relationship may last only a short time, but can be incredibly deep and lasting because both parties have truly invested in each other. This is similar in work or career. You may work with someone for many years, but if during that time they don't contribute, don't create, and don't help you grow, their presence cannot be considered loyal. Loyalty in work or career must be measured by dedication, creativity, and the ability to support each other in important moments. We need to learn to view relationships based on sincerity and real contribution rather than just the time spent together. One of the most important things you need to realize is that you don't have to hold on to relationships just because of time. Sometimes we feel obligated to maintain a long relationship because we've known each other for so long, because of past memories, or because we worry about the hurt that separation may cause. But if that relationship no longer adds value to you, does not help you grow, or no longer fits the path you are on, loyalty should not be measured by the time you spent on it. True loyalty must be built on a foundation of sincerity and respect. You cannot continue to be attached to a relationship just because you've spent too much time in it. Loyalty must be measured by actions, support during difficult times, and encouragement in important moments. A relationship can last long, but if there's no sharing, understanding, and respect, it is just an empty relationship. This doesn't mean you must give up those who have been with you for a long time, but you need to understand that loyalty must come from both sides. It cannot be one-sided. Sometimes you have to accept that not everyone in your life will walk with you throughout the journey. Sometimes loyalty is not about keeping people who have been with you for a long time, but knowing when to let them go so that each person can find their own path. True loyal relationships are those that help you grow, where both sides are committed to progressing together, regardless of how much time passes. A loyal friend is not just someone who is with you for a long time, but someone who is always there, ready to support, encourage, and help you reach new heights. Loyalty is not about waiting for the right moment to act. It is a commitment from the start, an investment in real values. This can also apply to family relationships, friendships, or even professional relationships. True loyalty is not a hollow commitment, but a commitment demonstrated through actions. A relationship can only be sustainable when loyalty is built on mutual understanding and respect. Learn to assess and evaluate your relationships not just by time, but by what they bring to you and what you can contribute to them. Sometimes true loyalty means letting go of relationships that no longer fit to create space for new ones, relationships that bring growth and happiness. You don't need to hold on to relationships just because of the past, just because of the time that's gone by. Loyalty is not a bond created by time, but a deep commitment from both sides, mutual respect and shared growth. When you understand this, you will no longer worry about maintaining relationships that no longer add value. Remember, loyalty is not something that can be measured by time. It is measured by the real actions, sincerity, and support each person brings into your life. In this noisy and pressure-filled life, silence can be the most precious thing you can find. We live in a world that constantly demands quick action, immediate decisions, and being everywhere doing everything. But sometimes it is in silence that you find your true strength. Silence does not mean meaningless quiet or avoidance. It is a state of alertness, the ability to stop, listen to yourself, and allow your mind to relax from the surrounding noise. In silence, you can reconnect with yourself, gain a better understanding of your goals, dreams, and true motivations. When there is no noise, no distractions, you can see the essence of every issue. It is in these quiet moments that you can reassess your choices in life, realize what is important, what no longer fits, and decide the next step with clarity and confidence. Sometimes we are so caught up in chasing goals, worrying about things beyond our control, that we forget that it is in silence where we can find the answers. Major life decisions, pivotal moments, often come from moments of silence, when you stop, when you allow yourself to breathe. You will feel the power of not needing to rush. Silence helps you eliminate worry, soothe negative emotions, and open space for positive thoughts and wisdom. In a quiet moment, you may see things that you missed before, opportunities that you couldn't recognize when everything was covered by the noise of daily life. Silence not only helps you realize the big things, but it also helps you discover your inner strength. In moments without the disturbance of the outside world, you will realize that strength does not come from how many things you have, but from your calmness and ability to face challenges. Silence teaches you that true strength is not something easily seen or obtained, but is patience, peace of mind, and the ability to face challenges without being defeated. When you can find inner peace, you will realize that you don't need to have everything to feel complete. Silence helps you see clearly that you already have everything you need to move forward, that your strength is already within you, and all you need is to stop and recognize it. In this busy and noisy world, silence helps you regain balance, helping you understand that action is not always the solution. Sometimes stopping and listening to yourself is the best way to solve a problem. When you stop chasing external things, you will find the strength to solve problems from within. In silence, you learn to accept yourself, accept mistakes and flaws, and from there, find the strength to change and grow. The more you find silence, the more you realize that your strength does not come from controlling everything, but from your ability to face and accept things as they are. Not every problem in life can be solved immediately. Sometimes just a moment of silence is enough for you to reassess the issue and find the best solution. When you allow yourself the time to stop and listen, you will see everything more clearly. You will have a sharper view of what needs to be done and the next steps to take. Silence helps you recharge, helps you recover from stress and anxiety. It is an invisible source of strength that helps you stand firm in important decisions. Each of us has difficult moments, times when we feel exhausted and lost, but it is in silence that you will find faith, find the strength to keep moving forward. When you no longer fear loneliness, when you no longer fear facing yourself, you will realize that it is in that silence where you can be reborn, start over, stronger, and more determined. Do not fear the quiet moments in life. Do not feel that you always have to do something, always have someone by your side, always be busy. These moments of silence are when you can reconnect with yourself, find true values, and discover inner strength. It is in silence that you will find the strength of patience, confidence, and the ability to face every challenge without fear. When you stop and allow yourself to find peace, you will realize that you already have everything you need to overcome any difficulty. Silence is not about avoidance or giving up, but a deep understanding that sometimes, to go further, you need to stop for a moment.